What's going on, guys? It's Luke22SV here, back with the 14th round of the career mode today here for the Italian Grand Prix, and with some upgrades as well, heading off at the back of a good result last time out in Spa. I think it was the 4th place. Good result in our first race back with Toro Rosso as we head into Italy now, which is a strong track for us as well. A track that we tend to do well at in career modes. In the past, we did quite well here last season for Alfa Romeo, but I think we had a bit of front wing damage which ended up slowing us down a little bit. So coming into this weekend, we've actually got a decent car now. With our upgrades, we've moved from last to 7th, overtaking the Racing Point Haas and Renault. So things could happen this weekend if we get the car rolling. Closed in the gap really a little bit to Williams as well. Red Bull and Ferrari and Alfa are all really close together, and McLaren closing in a lot on Mercedes as well. So it could get interesting towards the business end of the season. Mercedes pretty much have this title wrapped up though, so all looks like it's just pretty much preparing for season 3, wherever we'll be and wherever everyone else will be as well. It'll be interesting, but still a long way to go in season 2 yet, as we head on to our second lap as well. Now we're currently P2, so we've done pretty well so far in qualifying. Trying to use the Renault for a little bit of slipstream there. Helped us a little bit into turn 1, but turn 2 we just got over the curb and that slowed us down. So pretty much wiping out the advantage we had from that slipstream. But now moving on, we go through to the second chicane, and then we're currently down on our time. Well, actually it was up, but the delta was down for some reason. I don't know what happened there, but we're currently up on our previous time. So can we get pole position then around the circuit of Monza? It's looking very tight at the moment, whether we're actually improving on our previous time or not. But at the moment, well, going through the Degna 2, Lesmo 2, getting my circuits mixed up a little bit there, but still a little bit down on our previous time. So at the moment, it doesn't look like we might end up improving. Everyone else around us is improving. No, Weber's just gone 4th, Russell's just gone 4th, so Williams got a bit of pace there. We've just dropped down to 4th as well, as Hamilton goes quickest. Butler's overtaken us as well, so the McLaren showing its worth there, and Verstappen goes in to P5 just behind us. So it doesn't look like we're going to be able to improve on this lap time. Come around the final corner of this lap, and we're going to go across the line. We're just a 10th down, unfortunately. So looks like P4 then for the race. P4 is a good result in the Toro Rosso, which is the 7th best car on paper. We'll have to see where our teammate qualified, because that's a good qualifying for us. And now starting to impress in the Toro Rosso again, almost immediately. And the Alfa Romeo is not looking too strong since I've left. So Stroll not even in the top half, he's down in 13th, and Weber down in P8. So struggle for the Alfa Romeos, and I think Albon was down in P16, I believe. So good result then, good result so far in qualifying. See what we can do in the race, whether we can carry that on as we go on then to the race, starting from P4 at least. So we know how good the AI are off the start, so we're going to have to be careful heading into turn 1. We may end up losing some positions, but we're going to do our bit and try and outbrake him as well. But the Mercedes is going to be difficult to contend with, because whenever we've had a good weekend so far this season for Alfa, we've had to settle for second pretty much, because the Mercedes are just so far ahead. But here we go. Here's the starting grid then for the race. Hamilton on pole, front row lockout for Mercedes, ahead of Bottas, and it would be Devin Butler ahead of myself in P4. In our second race for Toro Rosso. Then comes Verstappen and Russell on row 3. Weber ahead of Leclerc, and then Vettel ahead of Gasly. Ferrari struggling too at their home race. Perez ahead of Stroll. Magnussen, Norris having a difficult day. Ricciardo now having a penalty. He ends up behind Albon. Hulkenberg ahead of Fiat, and both the Renaults on the back row of the grid. A difficult weekend for them as well. So let's get started then. Let's get started with this race. Starting from P4, can we get a podium today? Is that on the cards, or are we too slow compared to the Mercedes and the Ferrari and the McLaren? But there's lights out, and the way we go is actually a good start. We're immediately getting a good start, but now this is where the AI are stronger than us, getting through those gears much quicker. We're making a little bit of contact with Verstappen, putting our hand up in the air there as Russell getting past us into turn 1. So we lost one position there. Verstappen on the right side of us, so we don't want to lose another one. But now it looks like Verstappen getting a good exit out of turn 2. Has now managed to get alongside us, so we could be losing 2 positions off the start here. We dropped down to P6, but we got the inside line, so we may be able to keep ahead of him as we head into the next chicane. And hopefully we now just outbrake him, and indeed we can. Just keep hold of that P5. A bit more contact between myself and Verstappen. Verstappen still fighting back as we head into Lesmo 1. On the outside, we lock up a front brake, but just about now shutting the door and not allowing Verstappen through there, despite him being in the sister team, the bigger team, the first team really. We're saying no, we're going to have our own race, we're going to fight our own battle here. But just ahead you can see Butler has lost the position to Russell as well, but now Butler trying to win that one back, and we'll be doing our bit to try and win those positions back too, as Russell managed to get past us off the start. Williams looking really strong this weekend. I don't know how that's happened. Well, at least Russell is. Danny Kvyat a little bit further back, but Russell having a good weekend, which could put him in the shop window for next season as well, with him being a Mercedes young driver, of course. Whether he'll end up at Mercedes, that's another question on this game. You have some pretty random transfers on here. Of course, Lance Stroll ending up at Alfa Romeo is a bit of a random one, getting kicked out of his own dad's team. But now heading towards turn 1, you can see Russell pulled out alongside to try and make a move on Butler, which led to us having to make another emergency move to the right hand side. A little bit of contact was made with Butler there, and a little bit was made with Russell as well. So we've made contact with the McLaren and the Williams there by the looks of it, trying to get past. As we look at the replay of the start then, again it's another collision with a McLaren car in this season. It just seems to be a common occurrence this season. It's a mixture of Butler and Norris really, but we're heading to turn 1. You can see Russell had a hell of a start. He's actually up to P3 already, getting past Devon Butler. So the 4 Brits in the top 5 at this point. Again, the British driver's doing quite well. Lando Norris being the one that's not doing so well for some reason. I don't really know why. He just seems to have some qualifying demons for some reason in this season. But a little bit more contact was made with Verstappen there as we head towards Lesmo 1 and Lesmo 2. But this is where we managed to force him out and stop him from actually managing to get any overtake on us in the end. You can see the Ferraris further back just fighting. And then we go to one of the worst camera angles in the world. But yeah, that's pretty much the highlights of the first lap. Actually managing to get past everyone else. But now you can see just ahead of us it was the two British drivers of Russell and Butler going wheel to wheel through into Ascari. And then we got a good run on Russell out of the Ascari, because those two are battling wheel to wheel. And then moving on to lap 3, and we set the fastest lap of the race so far. So pace is actually looking quite good now. We're in P3. And again, like I said just a moment ago, when we're having a good result, it's pretty much we have to settle for P2 or P3. And that's what we're pretty much having to do at the moment, because both the Mercedes are flying off into the distance despite us setting the best lap of the race. It looks like we've got our work cut out if we actually want to catch these guys up, because they've already got a massive gap. That was just in the first couple of laps. We had to make our way through the traffic of Russell and Butler. But now we've got a few seconds gap to Butler already. Maybe that's because Butler's got a little bit of front wing damage, so perhaps it's holding him up a little bit, which is alright, it's fine by us. We had to make that move really, because Russell came across us, and then we kind of just were committing to make that move. But yeah, well, if it was anyone's fault, I don't think it was anyone's fault. But now, can we catch up to these Mercedes? Are they going to start fighting, which could help us a lot as well? If they start fighting, that will slow them down, and then we can close in and think about making a move on these Mercedes. But we're going to do everything in our power to try and catch these guys up. And who would have thought joining Toro Rosso would start showing some good results? Had a couple of good races already so far. Well, had one good race already so far in Spa, and it's looking like it's going to be a good one already so far in this race, because we're currently in P3 and pulling away from the group in P4 downwards now. So yeah, the pace is strong, and we're on course for a podium. We should set another fast lap of this race. We're closing on these Mercedes now already, and things are starting to look good in this race. If we can start to close in on these Mercedes, we could actually get interest from the Red Bull's main team. Of course, if we start doing really well, of course Gasly and Verstappen not really having the best of seasons, although Red Bull hasn't really had the best of cars either. But that could really allow us to almost get a promotion to the Red Bull, whether it would be next season or after the 4 races are up. This contract, I think, is Singapore after this one, and maybe Russia after that, which could be a strong track for us as well. Particularly Russia, I think the AI aren't as quick as the drivers around there, so that could be a good opportunity for us to actually allow us into a Red Bull seat. But the problem is, after that, Japan, the AI are much stronger there, so we may end up getting shown up. And then you got USA, which I can't drive around to save my life. But yeah, it could be an interesting second half of the season now that we've left Alfa Romeo again. Things just weren't going well there. Weber was destroying me, and so, well, I had to go running back to my former team, Toro Rosso, and that's what we did. But now the Mercedes are looking like they're starting to stay away. But now moving on to lap 6, we've closed in on them a little bit more as we head towards the pit stop window very shortly. Now they're starting to fight with each other, slowing each other down, as I would have hoped. And now there's a chance of a potential win in this race, whether we can get past these guys in the pit stop or whether we can do it on track. But Bottas is going to have DRS on Hamilton, so that's going to make it difficult for us because Toro Rosso, we haven't got the best Honda engine at the moment, so overtaking another car is actually quite difficult, unfortunately. But we're going to do our bit to try and get close in on these guys if we can get a good run out of Ascari, because well, actually Bottas drove clean past him before even the apex of the corner there. So Hamilton not slowing down too much by fighting side by side through Ascari, which is, well, unfortunate. But now we're going to continue to try and close in. We're getting DRS on these guys, so now we're within a second. We can hang on to these guys at least for a bit until the pit stop window. Maybe we'll be able to overtake one of them. Well, if hopefully two. But obviously, we're going to be probably pitting with one of these guys on the same lap, and the other one will be pitting a lap later. So whether he can keep hold of his tyres or not, we'll have to wait and find out. But now Hamilton fighting back on Valtteri Bottas and not being able to make the move this time. Hamilton to Bottas staying in P1, but now we're really on the back of Hamilton and perhaps thinking about making a move ourselves here. But Hamilton's still getting a toe off of Bottas out of turn 2, and now, well, maybe he's a little bit too far back. But we're not thinking about making a move either at this point, as they both lock up there. We try and lock up too. But now, again, Hamilton's sort of going defensive from us, so I'm not really sure why he had to do that. I don't think we were actually in a position to make a move there on Lewis Hamilton. But now going through Lesmo 2, it looks like he's actually dropped back a bit on Bottas, so Bottas might be a bit safe from an overtake here. But we are going to be boxing this lap, so one of these guys is going to be in this lap, we'd imagine, unless they're both going longer, in which case we could get an undercut on both of these guys. But we'd expect one of them to be in by now, but because the soft tyres have done 7 laps, we just got to go on the mediums to the end of this race. But see Hamilton now, is he going to be the one that we're pitting with, or is it going to be Bottas? We'd expect it to be Bottas since he's first one in, but, well, it's the first car on the road, but these guys have been swapping around a little bit throughout the race, and Bottas will carry on by the looks of it. Hamilton comes into the pits, we follow Hamilton into the pits. Hopefully we can get an undercut on him here. Well, hopefully our crew can get him out ahead of us here. Leclerc's actually got the fastest lap at the moment, so Ferrari, whatever it is, they found a bit more race pace than they have qualifying pace. Leclerc, well, trying to hunt us down as we come into those pits, and we can see the Alfa Romeo coming in as well, but Hamilton stays ahead. Weber has come in. We're still behind Hamilton, so now any overtaking is going to be done on the road on Hamilton, but potentially on Bottas we could still overtake him during the pits. Bottas could go from first to third, or we could even stay in first. We'll have to find out when he comes out of the pits, which should be the end of this lap. Now we're going to try and chase Hamilton. We got a fully charged up ERS though now, so this could be interesting if we get into attack mode. Hamilton's not going to have DRS on anyone now, so this is Hamilton's vulnerable to us attacking if we can stay within a second now. And indeed, we're actually closed in a little bit there through that chicane. We tend to be a little bit quicker than the AI going through that chicane. Now through Lesmo 1, we've got to stay close to him, and Lesmo 2, we've got to try and get a good launch out of this corner as well, and to see if we can get past him. But now DRS is activated. Are we going to be able to get close enough? We look quite far back at this point, so an overtake doesn't look really realistic, but we're closing in. Oh, we're looking for it, but just too far away at this point in time. Now we've got to wait for the next corner, Parabolica. We could make a move there. Whether we can keep DRS though, that's the question, because the DRS are going to pay dividends on the next straight as well, so it's probably not the wisest idea to make an overtake into the Parabolica, but we get close enough though. And now we've got plenty of fuel to use, plenty of ERS to use. Hamilton's going to be in trouble here. Is he going to be able to keep that position? Our teammates come into the pits. Now we get DRS. DRS is open now, and we're going to try and make that move on Hamilton. But there's the car coming out of the pits there as well, just ahead of us as we go onto the outside of Hamilton. And we are, well, up to P2, and then Bottas just ahead of us as well. And we get past Hamilton. So up into a provisional P2 at this point. Getting past Hamilton. But can we stay ahead of him now? Are we going to be able to focus our attack on Bottas? Or are we going to have to defend from Hamilton again? Which could slow us down in that sort of sense, where we won't be able to catch up with Bottas because we're too busy having to defend from Hamilton. But we're going to do our bit to try and catch up to Bottas, who's got a bit of traffic ahead of him, which could slow him down as well, which could be perfect for us. That's going to be perfect if Bottas gets slowed down by traffic, at least, and then we'll have a good way of catching him up. But at the moment, Hamilton, though, you see that proximity arrow. We're going to have to defend from him. We haven't got DRS on Bottas ahead. Hamilton's going to be attacking on us. Is he going to be able to make that move into Ascari? Looks a little bit far back at the moment, but we turn in and there's contact, and Hamilton has gone round. And Hamilton's gone round, and we've unfortunately had a collision with our countryman. Hamilton pointing the wrong way. The championship leader by some margin is pointing the wrong way at Ascari. And Sebastian Vettel is out of the race. I don't know what on earth has happened there to Sebastian Vettel, as Giovinazzi comes into the pits as well. Danny Kvyat out of the race as well, as is Max Verstappen, and as is Alex Albon. So we've lost 4 cars there, all in a short space of time. So I have to see what on earth has just happened. Was that because of the incident between myself and Hamilton? Here we go then. Here's the onboard of Hamilton. Looks to the outside to start off with, and then to the inside, looking to make that move on the inside, and I don't think there was enough room for him to make that move there. He was too far back, I think, but there we go. He's trying to make the move. He comes back onto the track now, and that is Vettel just running in straight into the back of him. I think Vettel had plenty of time to slow down there. I'm not sure why. Here's a load of cars just closing up, and then comes Verstappen flying into the back of Danny Kvyat, and then Albon straight into the back of Verstappen. I have no idea what happened there. There was a lot of AI just being a bit clown-like there. I don't know why. Don't know why they all just drove straight into the back of them. They could have had plenty of time to go off the track, avoid that, or slow down enough so they wouldn't have to plough into the back of him. But especially Vettel. I don't know what happened here. Here's the onboard of Vettel. Plenty of time to slow down. Plenty of time to even go round. But, well, Vettel doesn't seem to have good vision at that corner anyway, as we have seen in real life when he rejoined the track into Stroll's path. But nonetheless, we move on, and we're on lap 11, and we're currently in P2 behind Valtteri Bottas. There's now 15 cars left in the race. I think it's Pierre Gasly that's retired. So both Red Bulls are out of this race. Verstappen involved in that incident, of course. So both Red Bulls, a disappointing day. We're the only Red Bull car that's left in this race, which is a bit of a surprise. But we could be actually winning this race at this rate as we close in on Bottas with just 2 laps to go. Can we win this race from Valtteri Bottas? Can we steal it from him? We got DRS. We're closing in on him, but we've used a lot of ERS in the last couple of laps to try and close that gap. But as we look to the outside on Valtteri Bottas, so we're going to make the move on the outside, and indeed we do. So for an unexpected move there, we've managed to sneak into the first place ahead of Valtteri Bottas. What a move there from ourselves. Just an unexpected one there. I think Bottas thought he had that one covered, but we just snuck it around the outside. Just about enough room. Is Bottas going to be able to keep the position, or take the position back from us as well? We get out of shape actually going through that chicane this time. He's going to be trying to make that move on us into the next, on the next straight with DRS activated, of course. So now we're going to have to do defending. Are we going to be able to keep hold of this win, or are we going to have to settle for second in the end? Because Bottas will not want to lose this win to a Toro Rosso. Definitely not. This could be our first win in this career mode. Basically repeating what Vettel has done, winning his first race in a Toro Rosso round Italy, as Bottas now retakes the lead. So unfortunately we have lost the position to Bottas again. Can we take it back though? Now that's the question, which we activate a little bit of ERS again, turning it up as we dive down the inside again towards Parabolica this time. So now we're going to have to worry about defending on the main straight. Maybe that was a bad decision to make that overtake there, but we're back in the lead. Now we've got to defend. Can we defend though from Bottas? We got the ERS open to overtake. He's not actually getting close enough here. He's not getting close enough. So can we keep hold of that lead? Now he's getting close enough. Now he's going down the inside, as we're going to have to try and defend. But he's not going to be able to make that move stick, as we just forced him out wide. And now is the chance to see whether we can keep hold of this position on the last lap of the race, and whether Bottas will still be able to, try and make an overtake on the next straight. Probably the last opportunity for an overtake, as you can get DRS is still ahead of, still close enough to us, but we make a mistake again going through that chicane. As soon as we take the lead of this race, we just sort of get ourselves into a little bit of trouble going through that chicane, making a few mistakes. There's a real big opportunity here to get our first win of this career mode, and definitely our first win for Toro Rosso. That would be impressive as well. I don't think Red Bull have won a race this season as well, so to be the only Red Bull driver to have actually won a race, and only been in 2 races as well. But Bottas has got past us on the outside, but he locks up, he's locked up, but he's made a mistake. Bottas locking up, and that's cost him dear, and we are going to win this race now, because Valtteri Bottas locked up trying to make the move on the outside, and we keep ahead of Valtteri Bottas, and now we just got one more corner on this track, in this race, and we're going to come around the final corner now, and they're going to go across the line to win our first race of this career mode in a slight controversial, well, we just made contact with Hamilton, inadvertently took out 4 cars, but if the stewards didn't think it was a fault, it wasn't our fault. So we're happy with that. We got the win, and we're going to be delighted with that win. And it's for once, it's not Toto Wolff celebrating. It's Franz Tost this time, as we get out of the car, celebrating our first win. Weber, our former teammate, on the podium as well. Yeah, so good day for us, and 25 points. So that's going to definitely lift us in the drivers and constructors. I think we're probably 4th now in the drivers. So I don't know if we're still there at the beginning of this episode, but definitely getting a few good results together now. Particularly over the only really Hungary being a bad result for us. So we're in a good bit of form at the moment. Bottas on the podium with us. It might be one of the only races Hamilton hasn't been on the podium. He seems to have been on the podium in almost every race. He's got a huge point lead, which has been cut by Bottas, probably 18 points, quite dramatically. Weber as well, being one of his closest competitors. But there you go. Happy days. We've won our first race of this career mode. Now we've got to try and win our second and our third, and so on. And well, there you go. Stroll only just getting 4 points, so disappointing day for Stroll. Ricciardo getting a good haul of points for Racing Point, and I think Giovinazzi as well, just getting some points in his home Grand Prix, so a good day for him. We're up to 4th now. We've overtaken both the Ferraris, so that's happy days. And you can see further down, Ricciardo's moved ahead of Sainz. Stroll's moved up from bottom to get 4 points, but Stroll really having a stroll. He shouldn't be in that Alfa Romeo really at the moment. He's not really doing too well compared to Weber either, and Toro Rosso as well, jumping up the constructors as well. So we are doing quite well at the moment, and just got to continue that. And there you can see all the DNFs, both the Red Bulls and the Toro Rosso, and the Williams and the Ferrari. Basically all of those drivers there are either the current Red Bull drivers or former Red Bull drivers. So there you go. Well, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you very soon.